So look at y'all. So many people, different races, different places, all walks of life. But I love people. But I was about to get it. I don't know where to start, y'all. I got a lot on my brain, so I'm trying to pace myself so it don't all come out sounding like something crazy. The first thing I saw in the news headline on YouTube was about how a brawl broke out in an ATL bar over a racial slur. Now, you hear things like that all the time, people, fighting because somebody called them a name or a racial slur, since that's what the topic is about, right? People getting cussed out. It was like a compilation of Karens and Kens getting jacked up by melanated folk over racial slurs and stuff. Those things are always fascinating to watch. But I want to talk about that, not because I think it's funny and not because I think it's news, right? Because that shit has been going on forever in the day. Melanated folks getting mad because they're getting called racial slurs and things like that. I want to talk about it because I want to ask the question, right? I want to know, when are we all going to reach a point in this time, melanated folks, when we don't react like that? I just want to know. I just want to know. It's an honest question, and some people might get mad at me for asking that question. Some people might get mad at me for thinking that, that I shouldn't be saying that. But I've spoken before, I think TikTok. I really do want to, because what does it solve? What does it solve? And it's not taking the whole, MLK stance, the Martin Luther King stance of non-violence and things like that. Well, I guess I am, kind of, in a sense, right? I guess I am. I guess I am taking a sort of an MLK approach instead of like a Malcolm X approach, right, to it. But I really do want to know, when are melanated people going to stop reacting, sometimes overreacting, to being called racial slurs? Now, I understand when kids are being bullied, right? If melanated kids are being bullied and they're called, racial slurs and things like that. Like, I understand how it can affect a child, right? You just from a child's mentality, right, standpoint. But when you grown, okay? Like, for instance, I'm gonna use myself as an example, because I saw this video on YouTube and I just was like, really, y'all fought over that? So if I was like in the work setting, because I can actually use real life examples from a work setting, like a real life example, okay? Like a slur, a comment about hanging and shit kind of example. Do you know what I'm saying? And when that comment was said to me, I didn't overreact. I didn't black out. I didn't throw hands. I didn't, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't get into a brawl, is what I'm saying. Because I understood that it was coming from an ignorant place. And I understood that me getting all out of sorts wasn't going to solve anything, especially when a person is ignorant to the fact that they are even speaking such things that is vile. And they may know that it's insensitive, but sometimes people may not realize how much it could hurt another person with them saying what they say, right? They're ignorant to how much they can hurt you by saying that, right? Sometimes they're not ignorant. Sometimes they know exactly how it will hurt you, and the whole point of them saying it is to hurt you, right? But when I saw the title, brawl broke out in the bar over racial slur. First of all, I guess these adults are all alcoholed up, right? They're all alkied up, Okay. So I'm guessing that, that probably played into some of the fight, right? Because you're more emotional, I guess, when you're drunk. A lot of they say when you're drunk, the truth come out, right? So I guess your emotions is your truth, and there you go, right? But I really do think that we should stop reacting to stuff like that. And I'm talking specifically to melanated folks who have been in a situation where, you've been called a racial slur, or people taunt you with racial slurs and stuff like that. It never solves anything to fight about it. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can even make it worse, right? There are two different approaches to it, right? The nonviolent way and the violent way, right? The violent way is people getting hurt. The nonviolent way is feelings getting hurt, but you could possibly live to see another day, right? I just think we should stop getting so. This is the thing. If you know that you are not the racial slur that you are being called, why are you reacting to it? If somebody comes up to you, or I'll use myself for an example. If somebody came up to me and was like, "You black bitch," okay, I would just look at them. I would probably look at them like they had two heads. I would probably look at them like they got a goddamn problem, right? I don't have to say anything to this person. I don't have to do anything to this person. I could just get up and walk away, or I can continue doing what I was doing, whether it's talking on the phone, writing on something, And sometimes when those type of people do things like that, they're looking for attention, right? So they want you to acknowledge the fact that they said something to you that was hurtful, and they want the reaction of you being hurt, right? But if you're not showing the reaction of being hurt, they have no energy to play off of, right? Somebody used the phrase starve them to death, right? Starve them to death by not giving them anything to go on, right? Now, if they put their hands on you, that's a different story. If somebody initiates violence towards you by putting their hands on you, then that's when you go all out and you defend yourself. Now I'm not talking about MLK shit. Now I'm over on the other side. I'm on the other spectrum where Malcolm X. Okay? If somebody put their hands on you, you defend yourself. But if somebody is just coming in your face and they, like I said, I use myself as the example. You black bitch. First of all, who's black? Who's black? I'm not responding to that because who's black? And who's a bitch? It ain't me. So as far as I'm concerned, you're not talking to me. So I'm ignoring you. It's as simple as that. If somebody is calling you something that you do not react to, it is not you. You hoe. If you ain't a hoe, what you responding to it for? Right? You cunt. If you ain't a cunt, what you responding to it for? Do you know what I'm saying? So I just say all that to say, just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Let people do what they do. Some people like to be loud. Sometimes people think if they make a lot of noise, you know what I mean? They want to get attention. Just leave it alone. It never solves anything to react to dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? Just let dumb be dumb. Let dumb be dumb. Right? Simple as that. So moving on from that, I just had to get that out because when I saw that title, ATL brawl happens over a racial slur, I'm like, oh, here we go, fighting over words again. Here we go, fighting over words again. Okay. Yeah, there are other ways to go about that. Another headline I saw, I was watching a fellow YouTuber named Ivy Anita. A lot of people know Ivy Anita. She is, I believe she's Nigerian, and she lives in the country of Nigeria. And she talks a lot about social issues and race issues and things like that. And she always has really good facts and points and stories, right? So I like to listen to it. And I listened to one in particular today. I'm going to post the link on this page so you guys can go back and reference it. I kind of feel like I should have did that before I started here, but it's okay. So basically, the title of her video is Bishop sexually assaulted, or I'll say SA'd, a 12-year-old girl, got her pregnant, and nobody said anything about it. The church just moved on like nothing ever happened, right? So that was the title, even though a lot more was talked about in that video, right? But that was just the title of it. And so I think she started with that title because she wanted to talk about how there are so many people in the church that like commit criminal activities and stuff. And as long as no one talks about it, no one gets in trouble for it, right? Like she literally played segments from different pastors and churches literally telling people that if they did not give tithes in church, that they would die. I didn't believe it until I saw it with my own eyes. There was this African pastor telling his congregation that if they did not give money to the church, that they was going to lose their life. That they was going to lose their life. Okay? So I thought that was interesting. But hi, hey. Hi. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. You okay? Oh. Right here. Oh, wait a minute. Wait, let me see what y'all talking about on here. Hello. Time to go with the nasty comments again. So I think y'all mistake this page for OnlyFans. So you were like, I real life. Okay, I don't know what y'all talking about. Looks like it's a bunch of trolls on the page. But what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the pastors in the church. So Ivy Anita was talking about how she grew up Catholic, and she's Nigerian, right? So she said she grew up Catholic, and she said she had to go to church all the time. She was forced to go to church all the time. And she said they were also forced to build churches, right? So they had a lot of like child labor and stuff. And she said she remembered mixing cement, and her and her, fellow folks were mixing cement and making blocks and building churches. And she said it was a lot of free labor is what it was. And but she said they never looked at it as free labor because she said they felt like what they were doing was for God, right? Because that's what they were told, this is what you do for God, right? And you're going to be rewarded for it. Then she brought up a situation where a pastor literally told, it was a news article, y'all. I read the news article. A pastor literally told his congregation that they needed to fast. What was it? Fast until you meet Jesus. He promised them that they was going to get to heaven if they fast, right? And 21 people ended up dying. So I said, well, it seems like he did kind of keep his promise. I mean, he did tell them, if you fast, that, it'll get you closer to you know, but they listened to him, right? I'm trying to understand the conditioning, y'all. Y'all gonna have to help me with this. Um, what was another one? It's going okay. I'm talking about your kind of subject, actually. Um, have you ever heard about this pastor who told? No, yeah, really. Yeah, it was an article, and 21 people died. 21 people died because he told them that if they fasted for a certain amount of time, it would get them to heaven. Can you answer this, Michael? I'm talking about this video by this YouTuber, Ivy Anita, right? And she was talking about how this bishop got a slap on the wrist by the church because he SA'd a 12-year-old girl, got her pregnant, and then nobody said nothing about it. And then the whole congregation was like, "Oh, it's okay. We'll just help. We'll help you. We'll help her, raise the baby and stuff like that." But the bishop didn't get in trouble. There were no criminal charges or anything filed. So she was just kind of pointing out how a lot of false prophets be in the church, but we already know that anyway. But she was also pointing out, like, it seems like pastors work hard at preparing people for death. Do you believe that? Like, she said, like, all her life going to church, they always told everyone to concentrate on, like, to prepare themselves for the afterlife. Like, give all your money to the church, and give all your service to the church. Some of the African women in this video were saying that it was to the point where they was like neglecting their own kids and stuff, because that's how much they was giving service to the church. Cooking, cleaning, just time to the church. So much so that they were neglecting their own family at home. And so I thought that was interesting. And but she said that all her life growing up, it was like they were preparing you to die. And I'm like, well, why are they preparing people to die? They should prepare people to live? So I was kind of confused by that. But there was a lot of people in the video who were very, very angry because they wasn't understanding. Oh, and then she also said that when she was growing up, like in the Catholic Church or whatever, she said when she would go to church to be, was it baptized or something like that? No, not baptized. What do you call it? Well, she said that when she went christened, that's what it's called. She said when she went to get christened, or what, she said that she couldn't even use her African name that was, her parents gave her. She said that they made her get christened with an English name. And all of the Africans on the video agreed that when they went to get christened, that they could not use their original names that was given to them from birth. They had to use English names. And in my eyes, I'm like, well, if y'all using English names, like just made up names that they gave them, you know what I mean? Like, okay, so you're such and such, and so that's the name you're going to use to be christened under. So it's almost as if they weren't really christened. It was almost as if it was like done for play. Because how are you not christening someone under their birth name? It's as if you were like christening a doll baby or something, right? Like for play. And I found that interesting because I'm like, why they had to get English names? And so then this African dude said he became really upset because he said the very people that came to their country to teach them the whole Catholicism thing and the Christianity thing, and he said the very people that came to the country to teach them that in order to be able to follow it, he said they were not accepting them as they are. You know how a lot of churches say, come as you are? He said, the pastors weren't accepting them as they are because they didn't accept their birth names. They had to give them English names, and they just weren't accepting them, right? And the African dude was like, well, what if, the scripture was changed around where it was talking about, a melanated person being master or having power and all that stuff like that. And he said that they quickly just kind of shut him down. It was like, no. He was like, he said everything was only in the favor of the white man, is basically what the African churchgoer was saying. So I know this has always been like a discussion or whatever, like a heavy discussion, but religion seems to be like making the forefront of everybody's conversations a lot. Like a lot lately, people are talking about religion. And I even find myself talking about religion a lot. And it's not like it's not like I want to, you know what I mean? But when I see certain things in the headlines and when, things keep popping up, that gives me cause to question. So I come on here because I want to know what other people are thinking. You know what I'm saying? So, and it always gave me cause to question. Even when I was a little girl growing up in the church, I always had questions. And every time I had questions, the pastor could never answer it. Never. So I felt like I was just kind of left to the winds. I kind of felt like I just had to find it out, like find answers on my own, which I did. I think it's kind of like that. You can't really rely on like third-party information. You kind of have to find it for yourself. And third-party information, I feel, is kind of like getting it from the pastor. But people think that you're supposed to take everything that the pastor says as if God himself was telling it to you. You know what I mean? But I think a lot of these pastors, when they do talk like that, I feel like they're talking about themselves. When they say, and God said, I feel like they're talking about themselves. God said you got to give tithes or you going to die. He talking about himself. I said you got to give me money or you going to die. He talking about himself. What was another one? She said, then this was a African woman pastor, right? She had a long head of weave. Long weave down the back. And she was really preaching to these African women in the church that they have to hate their hair and that they got to go and make sure they buy the long straight weave and wear it proudly so that they can flip their hair and feel pretty and stuff. So she was teaching these women in the church that their natural beauty is ugly. I don't know. And I understand you talking about what? That was a false prophet. I always say people should follow Jesus, not the pastor. Being Christian isn't a biblical concept. Being Christian isn't a biblical concept. So then why do they do it? But there are so many churches that do it though. They call it Christian. They call it baptism. We all have to prepare to meet. I have a lot of Bible on it, man. That's false doctrine. So when people are being Christian and they're being baptized, what is it for then? Like what? If it's false doctrine, then so what is it? Are you saying that it's really demonic? Is what you're saying? Kind of like you know how when you take communion, because I grew up taking communion all my life. Like I grew up in a church. My grandma did not play. We had to go to church and Bible study and all that stuff. So like when we took communion, and you know how they have like the bread and the wine and they're like the body of Christ broken for you, the blood of Christ poured for you. Was that like a demonic? You think that's a demonic ritual? Is that a false doctrine, or like what do you think about that? I want to know where you get your information from. But so do you? Oh wait, you do believe in that because you literally said. Wait. I always say people should follow Jesus, not the pastor. So then you do believe in the whole the body of Christ broken for you, the blood of Christ poured for you. You believe in that? Because I watched somebody on TikTok like break down the whole concept of that, and she said it was like a demonic ritual. You do believe that? Hmm. All right. So if you believe that, so then why do we have to eat the body and drink the blood? That's kind of like a sacrificial type of thing, right? Why are we eating the body and drinking the blood? Like, we don't even drink animal blood. And they tell us we're not supposed. And they tell us that we're not supposed to eat animal flesh either. Bye. Hi, Chica. Right? Like, I know a lot of us eat animal parts and stuff like that, but we're also told we shouldn't. We're told that we shouldn't eat animal parts. We're told that we should eat plants and fruits and things like that, and we should stay away from the animal, right? We're also told, like, who drinks? I know that there are people out here who drink blood, and I know there are people out here who eat like raw meat and like bloody raw meat, and I know that there are people out here that may believe in, like, sacrificial this and ritual that and stuff like that, but the body of Christ given to you for consumption, the blood of Christ given to you for consumption. I think that's kind of strange. I'm not gonna lie. I reposted that video I saw on TikTok about the lady breaking it down about that, because she did make a lot of sense, and a lot of people started following her because of that, because it makes sense to too. The blood and the blood is symbolic, the body and the blood is symbolic. But they always talking about Jesus died for our sins, right? Now, I think that can be taken in a lot of different ways, because how some people die to no fault of their own, kind of like in war, right? So in war, like, we'll just say between the Israel and Palestine, right? So like in war, there are a lot of innocent people who are dying, right? And for those who survived, I guess a person can say, well, those people that died, they were the sacrifice for us to live, right? Because if it hadn't have been them, it would have been somebody else, or it probably would have been them. I mean, at the end of the day, people shouldn't have to die in war. I don't know. The whole thing is kind of don't believe when they say Jesus died for our sins, or Jesus was supposed to die for our sins. I don't believe that. I don't believe that anybody should have to die for somebody's sins. If it's your sin, it's your sin, right? So why should somebody else have to die for your sin? You know what I'm saying? That'd be like somebody next to me murdering somebody, right? And then somebody looking at me saying, "Oh, you should be the sacrificial lamb in order to give the murderer everlasting, give the murderer to wipe the murderer clean." And it's like, but that's not fair. I should have to be sacrificed for this motherfucker? Excuse me. Why should I have to be sacrificed for this person next to me for his sins? If he committed the crime, then he should be sacrificed for his sins. I feel like I should be sacrificed for nobody's sins. It's too many people out here trying to sacrifice people to wipe their own SH&T clean. It doesn't make sense to me. Like they say, you do the crime, you do the time. Mm-hmm. That sounds about right. Not the person next to you who had nothing to do with what you did, with what you did. No, they shouldn't have to sacrifice themselves for what you did as a crime. You do the crime, you do the time. Yeah, now I believe in that. I believe in that, but I don't believe in the whole sacrificing. Adam's disobedience brought death to all mankind. Jesus is God. He died so that we can have life if we accept him as Savior. Adam's disobedience. So Adam's disobedience was eating the apple. Is that what you're saying? Do I? Adam's disobedience was eating the apple? What was Adam's disobedience? Because, oh, him so cute. Adam's disobedience brought death to all mankind. Jesus is God. I remember I was working in a store, and this man came to the store, and he walked up to me and just yelled in my face, "Do you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior? Do you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior? You accept Jesus Christ?" Then he told me that I need to accept Jesus Christ as my Lord. And he kept yelling it at me, right? Like the question, "Do you accept?" Like yelling it at me. And I thought the man was bonkers, honestly, because I didn't know who he was from a can of paint. He was just he always walked back and forth around the store, looking for odd things outside or whatever. Like, I just kind of thought the man was a little strange anyway. But he just came in yelling at me. And everybody in the store just stopped and looked at him, because that's how loud he was. That's how loud he was yelling at me. "You accepted Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior." So everybody in the store stopped, looked at him, looked at me, looked at him, looked at me, because they were waiting for me to respond. They were waiting for me to respond. And I never responded. I just kept looking at him as he yelled at me. Kind of like how when I said earlier in this video, like when I was talking about that video that I saw where a brawl in ATL broke out over a racial slur. And I'm like, why are you even reacting to the racial slur? Why are you even reacting to it? Why are you even giving the person the energy? Why? If you know that you don't associate with whatever the racial slur is or whatever the name that is being called upon you, why are you reacting to it? So it's kind of like that when he was just like, "Do you accept Jesus Christ?" And I'm just like, who is this fool and why is he yelling at me? He wasn't a pastor. He wasn't you just a man off the street that think you can just come into the store and scream in my face, "Do you accept Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior?" While everybody's sitting around watching. I don't know if he thought that was going to like make me, shocked or make me be like, "Oh yeah." I mean, I don't know what he thought, but I just looked at him. I didn't say nothing. I just looked at him. And after a while, he saw that I was not responding to his ass. And then before he walked out, he's like, "God bless you." And I said, "You as well. Can I help the next person?" Like, what the hell? This was in Malibu, California, mind you. Just thought I'd give the location. It was in Malibu. So, yes, that's scary. He looks scary too. I'm like, why is he yelling at me? I don't know you. You just came off the street in the store yelling at me? I thought that was so crazy. And everybody in the store just got quiet and was just like, is she gonna say it? Is she gonna? And I was just like, I was just waiting for him to stop screaming. And then he stopped screaming. He's like, "Oh, God bless you." And I said, "You as well." And he walked out the store. Okay. And then I told one of my coworkers what happened. One of my white coworkers, and she was like, "Well, what was his race?" And I was like, "Oh, he was white." And she was like, "White people are always trying to pressure people into religion." She was like, always. And she was like, and I can say it because I'm a white person. So I can say that white people are always trying to pressure people into religion because my family always try to do it all the time. I said, well, damn. So I'm glad I didn't respond to that guy. That was really strange. But I mean, all I'm saying is it's really hard to trust people who get into the religious field. It's hard because you don't know if they're getting into the religious field because they're trying to set up shop to create a business to bank off of in a major way, and or you don't know if they're entering, the church because they want to set up shop to create like a human trafficking business. You don't know if they're entering the church to set up shop, to just, get laid, have access to a bunch of women that they can just bang and knock up. And, maybe they want to, oh, hummingbird. Maybe they want to, create like a whole polygamy system and, have like a whole sister wife type deal going on. And like, you just don't know what people's agenda is. You just don't. Nowadays, you don't. And everybody is questioning religion. There was, I read like some statistics that said like church goers going to church, like the rate of church people going to church fell drastically because people are not trusting the church anymore. People are not trusting the pastors. People are not trusting the word because so much is coming out about religion and so much is coming out about the people behind the faces behind religion that is just making people turn away and just not trust. Because you don't know why people are even getting into it anymore. A lot of people are getting into it because they want to bank, want to make money. I saw that pastor tell his congregation, a lot of the pastors and priests and nuns and like are being busted for criminal charges and things like that. It's like, and this is what you want us to follow. So I always tell people I'm more spiritual than anything. Spirituality doesn't mean that you have to go to a church house, to praise a higher power, I believe in peace, love, and light, but I know realistically speaking that we're not always going to be peace, love, and light, right? Because we have another side to us, right? There's a dark side and there's a light side. And I think people have to learn how to balance that out, and I think that's why people go to church. I think people go to church to try to balance out their dark side, because I think they feel like if they go to church, it means that it gives what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like when people go into confessional booths and they confess their sins or whatever, and then when they leave, they feel like they have a clean slate. That's it. I think people go to church to temper their dark side in order to come out feeling like they have a clean slate to start over again. So it's like you can sin as much as you want, you can do whatever you want, but as long as you go to church and you ask the pastor to forgive you, or you know what I'm saying? Or you go into the confessional booth and confess your sins. It's like, okay, yeah, I killed this guy, but I went into the confessional booth and confessed to it. So now I have a clean slate. So if I kill again, I'll just go back to the confessional booth and get a clean slate again. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that bishop that saved that 12-year-old girl and got her pregnant. And the church was basically like, oh, well, Jesus Christ forgives him, so everybody else has to forgive him too. And it's like, so that basically means he can say another minor getting pregnant, and then you'll just keep saying, oh, well, Jesus forgave him, so you just forgive him too. It sounds like bullshit. Sounds like bullshit. It sounds like a game. And I know you talk about false prophets and stuff like that, but it seemed like it's a lot of false prophets out here. And that's what I mean by you just don't know when people go into the church business, religion, whatever. You just don't know what their real agenda is for going into it. And it's crazy because it's like you can join a church, a congregation, and it's like the pastor can't be questioned. Like you can't ask the pastor questions, probably. Like the pastor doesn't expect people to question his authority because he feels like, well, I went to, seminary school or theology school, or, I did the time and went, and got my credentials or whatever. So how dare you question me? And I went to school to get the knowledge that you don't even have, right? So it's kind of like how they say you can't question the Pope, right? Like the Pope is the highest of the high, they say, the holiest of the holiest, and anything he says goes, and you're not to question the Pope, right? But I got questions, right? I guess I would be considered disobedient because I have questions. And I guess, like I said, when I was growing up in church, I had questions and my questions weren't answered. And I guess maybe they felt like I don't need to answer this little, I don't need to tell her this. And even when I became an adult, I don't need to answer this woman's questions because I am who I am, right? I'm the priest or I'm the pastor. And so why do I feel like I have to explain anything to her? And then they kind of just feed you what they feel you want to hear. But it always left me, like at a void. I always felt like I was not being heard. And I always felt like, it was BS. And I am one of those people that backed away from the church. And I don't feel that I need to go to a church to live in the truth of love and light. I don't feel like I need to go to a church house for that. I believe in, do good by others. And I believe in unconditional love, but I also believe in, if you hit me, I'm going to hit you back. If you try to slander me, I'm going to let it be known what you're doing. If you try to discriminate against me, or if you try to, bully me or anything, I believe in standing up for myself, using my voice and speaking out. I'm not going to just sit there and let you do it. You know what I'm saying? So, in church, you're taught to be obedient, and you're taught to be submissive, and you're taught to your inside voice, especially as a female. You're taught to smile, and you're taught to be a people pleaser, and you're taught to, you're taught to all the good things that you're supposed to be, right? But they never tell you how to get in touch with your shadow side. They never tell you that, sometimes your mind can go dark. They never tell you that, it doesn't make you a bad person if you think dark thoughts, or it doesn't make you a bad person. It just means that you're battling with something inside of you, and that you need to look a little deeper inside of you to connect the dots to understand why you're battling it in the first place. Where did it come from? Did somebody do something to you? Did somebody say something to you? Do you know what I mean? It's like, that's the spiritual aspect of it. They don't teach you that stuff though. They paint the picture of church being love and light and peace and angels and fairy tales and shit, stuff like that. Okay. And they never teach you how to balance your shadow side with your light side. You know what I mean? Like all of that is connected, and it's necessary. They need to teach people how to balance themselves. But of course, if you teach people how to balance themselves, and if you teach people, how to be able to heal themselves, then that means that they don't need to come to the church as much to get healing from the pastor, right? Right? Because would essentially know how to be positive, or they will essentially know how to heal themselves, right? Oh, I don't need to, listen to what the pastor's saying. I mean, I could go to church and listen to the word just to listen to the word, hoping that the word is really the word, you know what I mean? But most people go to church for healing, child. They go because they are afflicted, and they want the pastor to touch them and put some healing on them by the hand, by whatever it is. People want to believe that there is a man out there that can heal them from their afflictions. There are people out there that believe that Jesus is coming back, and when Jesus comes back, everything is going to be great. There are some people out there who believe that as long as they pray with no action, just pray, that things will magically occur. You know what I'm saying? It's like faith without works. Okay? Faith without works? No, it's faith and works. We got to work towards things. You know what I mean? And you sitting around waiting for somebody to do what? Waiting for somebody to save you? Who? Child, I'm sorry. It's just some things that's just like, kind of like, some things is just kind of elementary to me. I'm just being honest. And that's not true. God will not be mocked. Jesus says, follow me. Get to know Jesus for yourself so that you won't be deceived by people in passage. And how do you propose I get to know Jesus? And don't say, Michael, read the word. Don't say that. Don't say that. Because how do I know that the word is really Jesus's word? You told me not too long ago, Michael, that they recently found some evidence that Jesus existed. And I said, well, I would like to see it. I would like to see it. And even then, how do we know that they really telling the truth? There's a lot of made up stuff out here. Now they got AI infecting all the industries. It's like we live, it's like we live to copy, or we live for, it's just like too much identity theft. It's too much. Like, why we gotta have AI to AI doesn't but help to steal people's identities. That's all it does. It makes it easier to steal people's identities. That's a problem. That is a serious problem, in my opinion. So, I don't know, y'all. You said only God heals. God is within all of us. And let me tell you something, Michael. I healed myself. I went through a lot from my past. And I didn't wait on anybody to come and tell me it was going to be all right. I didn't wait on anybody to come and lay their hand on my head. I didn't wait on anybody to say, take communion. I didn't wait on anybody to come and hold me by the hand. I didn't wait on anybody to come and give me a hug, a kiss, nothing. Nothing. I was about to say I can't remember the last time I got a hug, but I recently remembered that I got a hug. This guy came and hugged me. I don't know. I guess he just felt like he wanted to hug me. And it was strange. It was strange. You know you haven't been hugged in a long time when it's strange to you, when somebody just wants to hug, like hugs you. You know what I mean? And you're just like I literally was like, oh. Because I stay to myself. I don't like too many people touching me. I believe in the whole, interference of energy and, not letting too many people touch my body. I already made the mistake by letting too many hands touch my hair. Way too many hands touch my hair. I made that mistake. I won't make that mistake again. So I just kind of believe in not being touched and stuff like that, clearly. But, so... it just was strange to me. Not that, but I know him. So, I wasn't creeped out or weirded out by him. It was just strange. That's all. The Christian walk is a faith walk. If you truly want to know Jesus as your Lord and Master, he will reveal himself to you. A lot of things have revealed itself to me. A lot of things have revealed itself to me. Now, I don't know if you would call it Jesus. I know what I would call it, but I don't know if I would call it Jesus. But, yeah. Michael, I can honestly say that I healed myself. Now, I believe in spiritual protection. And I believe, you know, that our ancestors are definitely fighting on the other side to protect us and all that. Because some things that happen to me just can't be explained. You know how just things that just can't be explained, and you're just like, there's no way. Like, I don't know how I would explain that to somebody without them looking at me saying, "Are you okay?" You know what I mean? So I know that there's other things that factor into, you know, protection and being able to see beyond and all that stuff. But I have to say, I healed myself. I healed myself, just like a lot of people have to heal themselves. You say Jesus heals, and you know, okay. I healed myself. I know I had a lot of backing, spiritual backing, for sure, and I will never deny that. But I healed myself. And man didn't help me do it. Man didn't help me do it. And so that's why I always tell people, you have to heal yourself. Nobody can heal you for you. You have to heal yourself. And you have to do the work. And if you don't do the work, then you will just remain an unhealed individual, and you will walk around spewing all of your unhealedness, if that's even a word, on everybody around you, or projecting your unhealedness on everybody around you. And that's something I'm always conscious of. I'm always conscious to not burden people with, like if I have problems, or if I'm not happy about something, or, you know, if I'm disappointed in something, or, I make a conscious effort to not burden people, you know, because some people will be mad about something, or, you know, and they'll just burden people with negativity, or they'll burden people with anger, or they'll just burden people with problems, right? Or they'll just create problems, right? They mad, they miserable, so now they want to make you miserable because they miserable, so they just create shit to make you miserable with, you know? And it's just like, damn, like, go sit down somewhere. Go sit down. Go, you know, sometimes you want to tell a person, go hit a blunt, or go, I know, you know what I'm saying, you know, go have a cocktail, go just, you know, go chill out, you know, because you're not doing good for nobody right now. You're really not. You're just being a damn tyrant. And we need less of those in this world, okay? So, yeah, I make a conscious effort to not be a tyrant. I make a conscious effort to be a productive citizen of society, you know? Because sometimes we can unconsciously just be negative to people. And sometimes, you know, just unconsciously, you bothered and you mad, and you're not even realizing that you're taking out your, like how you feel on somebody next to you, you know, giving them all kind of evil looks and stuff, because that's how you feel inside. A lot of people are just not conscious, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. I think I do a pretty good job of not, you know, burdening people too much. And I think that's why people always feel like I'm okay and I don't need anything. And, you know, and if I do appear like I need something, or if I do appear like I'm not okay, like they're like, oh, well, she'll be okay in the next hour, or tomorrow she'll be fine. I don't know how she's going to be fine. I don't know how, you know, but I know she will be, you know. That's when people are used to you being strong all the time. So they just don't worry about you, because they're just like, well, she's always strong, so I know she'll be. My brother, I think, said that to me one time. I think he like generalized my astrological sign. He was basically like, oh, I know Capricorns, you know, Capricorns will always figure it out. And I just looked at him. I was like, you think so? And he was like, yeah, he was like, I know you, and I've known other Capricorns, and I've always known Capricorns to have money, or I've always known Capricorns to figure out their problems, or I always known Capricorns, whatever they're going through, they're going to get through it. They going to get through it. I was like, oh yeah. So that's what my brother said. So I guess in his eyes, he may feel like whatever my sister is going through, I know she going to be good because she a Capricorn. Ain't that about a biatch? Ain't that about a biatch? Capricorns need people to lean on too sometimes. Capricorns need people to hug them too. Like I got the hug the other day and it felt strange. Hugs shouldn't feel strange, y'all. Hugs shouldn't feel strange. But I guess I have myself to kind of blame for that because I protect myself so much. I protect my body so much. And so I think I might have myself to blame for that a little bit, just a little bit. But yeah. The Christian walk is a faith walk. If you truly want to know Jesus as your Lord and Master, he will reveal himself to you. I'm good though. Like how I've been going with my spirituality and like, my beliefs and how I've been going. Like I'm good. Like I'm not, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And I don't consider myself as a Christian. I don't consider myself as following any like religious background. When I was growing up, I grew up in a Methodist church. When I became an adult, I was baptized in a Baptist church, so I became Baptist. After that, and after a lot of stuff that I was going through, I don't like to tie myself to religion because, I understand people like to tie themselves to religion because they like community. They may like community and they may like to feel like they can relate to other people and have other people to lean on and, in tough situations and whatever, I understand the reason for community. I definitely do. I think there's nothing wrong with community, but I've never been one to need myself to be tied to anything to give me validation, if that makes sense. I've never felt like I had to tie myself to anything to be validated. I don't need a group to validate me. I don't need a church to validate me. I don't need, do you know what I mean? And I think a lot of times people, they want to feel validated. Kind of like how when people cry that, the Catholic Church wasn't accepting of them. Oh, the church doesn't accept same-sex couples. Oh, the church doesn't accept me cohabitating with my spouse. Oh, the church doesn't accept me now that I got divorced. Kind of like how Meghan Markle was getting shit because she was a divorcee, and the royal family didn't want Harry to marry her because she had already been married. So it's kind of like that with the Catholic Church, how they were turning away divorcees and, cohabitating couples and stuff like that. But these people were crying over it, oh, the church won't accept. And then, but me, my stance is just completely different. I don't need you to accept me. I accept myself. I accept myself. And I unconditionally love myself. I can't say that a pastor would unconditionally love me. I can't say that the church community would unconditionally love me or even accept me. How many times do we go to school and we have peers that don't even accept us? How many times do we go home and we don't even have parents that accept us? Cousins, aunts, uncles, co-workers, bosses. Anywhere we go, there's going to be somebody that doesn't accept us, that doesn't like us, that doesn't unconditionally love us. And you think that I'm going to give all my power over to another motherfucker because I want to be validated? and accept it. I mean, hi, baby. Hi. I just been seeing so many little babies around. 1, 2, 3, 4. So many babies around me. I've never had that many babies around me in one sitting. It's just they keep coming. They keep coming. I don't know what that means, but they keep coming. Oh, the little muffins. The little muffins. I don't know. They keep coming. I don't know, but I love them. I love kids. So, but that made me lose my train of thought looking at that little boy. I don't let everyone hug me because they have demonic spirits attached to them. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. I sound like people to me like that anyway. You know, like I'm a germaphobe. Okay, I am. Anybody who see me, they always see me covered up. They when I'm at work, I'm always it's so funny because people are like, "Why is she wearing gloves? Why is she always wearing gloves?" Like I'm like, "Have you seen money? Money is filthy, dirty. Money is very dirty, and I count money. You know what I mean? And I see what people do with their hands. And another pet peeve of mine that I know people do is they'll go and that's right, I'm gonna say it. They'll use the bathroom and don't wash their hands. That's a pet peeve of mine. I said it. It is. It's a pet peeve of mine. They'll use the bathroom, they won't wash their hands, but then they will touch everything. Food, money. You probably got some peas, something on your hands. You went to the bathroom and you wipe your hands. Did you wipe your hands? Okay, don't get me started. Get me started. Like, he didn't wash his hands when he came out that bathroom. You know. And then you watch what they touch. You're like, oh my God, they're just passing on all germs everywhere. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. So yes, I wear gloves. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But anyway, that is a pet peeve of mine. I used to get after my in-laws about that. Like, please wash your hands when you come out the bathroom, especially when I had my kid. Anyway, I'm not going to get into all of that, but yeah, you're not supposed to let everybody touch you because sometimes people touching you for the wrong reasons. Okay? And that's just facts. You know, whenever anybody got too close and was touching me, I would just get off me. Trying to touch me too close, get off me. Don't touch me, I back away. Don't touch me. Most anybody I would like, the most a stranger has ever touched me is if I went to a spa, you know, for like a body massage or something like that, you know, or going to get your hair done. Who is this guy? But yeah. But anyway. Anywho, I have definitely been on here. You'll be praying for me? Yeah. You don't have to pray for me, Michael. I don't know what your prayers are going to consist of. So it's okay. Not that I think that you're a bad person. You know, we have a great conversation when you're on this chat, and I definitely appreciate you being here. But I just don't know why you want to pray for me. I don't know why you want to. And that's all. You know, like I don't feel the need to pray for you. I think that you're fine. I feel like you got your head on straight. You know. So I don't feel the need to pray for you. I wish you well, though. I wish you well, and I wish you well in all your endeavors, especially school, because school can be hard. You know. I wish you well. But anywho, if you all are not subscribed to All Baddies Got a Story, please subscribe. I go live once a day, sometimes twice. Check out my other featured channels on this page. I think Shanda is my artistry channel, where I have original spoken word, original songs that I wrote that I sing on that page. All the music in my spoken word, I self-composed myself. And I even have just like compilation folders of like either my music or my spoken word. It's all different, but I love it. So, subscribe to that if you vibe with it. I also have a podcast with almost 300 episodes on it. The link is in the profile. I also have a couple of episodes from my podcast in my podcast playlist folder on this page. Check it out if you vibe with it. Subscribe to the pod. The link's in the profile. God needs to make something clear to you. Ooh. God needs to make something clear to me. I think things have been made very clear to me. Very, very clear. I see very clearly. I say that as I say that, my birthday pops up. I see things very clearly. I see things for what it is. And I think that, people get mad when you have your own mind. And I think people get mad when you don't give in to what they want to kind of force feed you. And that's why a lot of people don't like free spirits, because they feel like they can't get a grasp on them. They feel like they can't control their mind, like mind manipulation, kind of like how a lot of churches do. Mind manipulation, mind control, So I think, everybody has their beliefs, and I don't think anybody should be forced to believe anything. I think we can all agree to disagree. And I also think that we can still be peaceful amongst each other doing just that. I think the only ones that won't be peaceful doing just that are the ones that seek to control and condemn and force. So, and I'm not trying to force anybody, and I'm not trying to control anybody. We all have different perspective, and I think it's a beautiful thing when we can listen to each other's perspective and, like I said, agree to disagree or agree. So it is what it is. It is what it is. And that's what he said. You said, I will be praying for you. God needs to make something clear to you. That almost sounds like a threat, though, Michael. I have to say, that almost sounds like a threat. Because I don't know why you feel the need to pray for me and why you feel that God needs to make something clear to me. How do you know it hasn't already been made clear to me? Is it because you don't think so? That sound like control. But anyway, unless you tell me something different. But I'm about to get off this live. Thank all of y'all for joining. Subscribe to the channel, like this channel, share the channel so that other people can get in on the conversation. I will definitely go live tomorrow and see you guys mañana. I didn't go live yesterday. I thought I was, but I was so tired. And then when I went into like a space where I thought I was going to be able to do it, it was like really, really, really loud music. And I knew that my channel was going to get flagged or something for like copyright with music and stuff like that. And I didn't feel like going through all of that. Because, like when they flag your channel for copyright and all that stuff, you can't monetize off of it or something like that. I believe it's something like that. So, because it's, so whatever is playing in the background right now, I hope that my conversation basically drowned it out so that you don't, the channel doesn't pick it up and ding me for it. But anyway, so I'm going to get off. Thanks for the conversation. Link to that YouTube video that I was talking about or referencing, the Ivy Anita YouTube video talking about the pastors and the bishops and all of that good stuff, because I think it's an interesting video that you guys should definitely check out. And I think that interesting. And so, yeah, so I'm going to post that link. I'm just watching my surroundings. That's all. I always do. And I see a lot. A lot. Talk to y'all mañana. Thanks for tuning in.